Hey everyone, and welcome to Live in the D Extra on a Friday. Now, today I have a very special program that I want to share with you guys. It's called Starfish's Fraternity of Fathers, and it's all about a program that's helping dads be the best dads that they could be. And I want to introduce you to our guests today. I have Eric Donald, who is the fatherhood coordinator, right?
Yes.
And thank you for being here. And Deshaun Logan, you are a program participant, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so let's get into it. I'm going to start with you, Eric. Why start a program like this?
Well, the Fraternity of Fathers is actually a collaborative effort that was started through the University of Michigan, Starfish Family Services. The thought behind it was to try to see what were the attachments like for our male caregivers within Wayne County, and just to see what those attachments look like. Because
by attachments, what do you mean?
Just the overall attachments between a father and his child.
Okay.
And just being able to see how important it is for dads to also be involved as early on as possible as well, because there's always have been like this misconception that fathers need to step in only at certain points throughout a child's life. So this research effort, along with what we're doing at Starfish Family Services, has allowed us to be able to try to get somewhat of a snapshot as to like what does these relationships look like for our dads throughout Wayne County.
Right, so it's not just dad coming in when it's time for discipline,
right,
or to lay down the law or something like that, but kind of evolving what fatherhood means. I feel like that's changing in society in general, don't you?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to come to you now. What were your kind of ideas about fatherhood before you got into this program?
It was scary, honestly. I thought you were only supposed to treat your children one way. Like, as long as you spoil them, they'll be fine. But as I started having kids, I was like, no, it's a lot more to fatherhood.
Yeah, and I think that I hear both. It's like dad is the one who spoils, or dad is the one putting the smack down, keeping things in order. And I think a lot of people kind of bring in either exactly what they were raised with, or trying to be the opposite. Like if their parents were too harsh, they're overly lenient, or if their or they're going to be very serious like their parents were. So how do you work with that with fathers? Because we all go into situations with what we learned and how we were raised, which wasn't all necessarily all correct.
Right, and I'm glad that you bring up that point, because that is like one of the main focal points of our group. We discuss like things that we would like to take away from our childhood, and also things that we would like to deviate away from. So that's huge that we had those discussions with our dads. And I think also just being able to validate the fact that we do bring some things along with us from our childhood is perfectly normal and it's fine. So those are some of the things that we try to do with our dads during group.
All right, so Deshaun, how do you feel like the program has helped you?
Oh man, it helped a lot. It showed me that there's no right or wrong way to parent. It teaches me that no matter how old you are, or no matter how old your children are, it's okay to still learn. It taught me that relationships and patience is the most important thing to being a parent. So I take a lot of advice that they give me. Also take a lot of advice from the other dads. So everything they tell me, I just try to stick it into parenting.
Okay. So Eric, let me ask you, how important is it to have other dads with the fathers who are learning to kind of give them that support?
Very important. And I think it's because of the fact that what we're trying to do at Starfish, we're trying to offer a space for our dads, and kind of going back to what you had mentioned earlier, just in terms of like social services and human services have like not been able to offer spaces like this in the past for our dads. So it's very important to have other dads with different experiences kind of come together, because not only do we have some dads, Deshaun is a great example of that, that's more like a mentor to some of our other dads. It's just also important for us as facilitators, because we also, and I can speak because I'm a father myself, that I've learned a lot from our dads as well. So just even as a facilitator.
All right. right, so let's get into a little bit of the nitty-gritty of the program. Is it group sessions? Are there classes? And how do you reach out to dads who need these services?
It's a 10-week group session. Typically, what we do in terms of recruitment, we put on various events throughout Starfish. And the neat part about what we do in terms, especially with recruitment, is that it's also across various programs. So we also work with our Head Start and early Head Start initiatives to bring in some of those dads. And actually, Deshaun is a great example of that as well, because he's also one of our Head Start dads as well as a Fraternity of Fathers dad. So just, one of those things where we try to use all of the events that we put on in Starfish to the best of our, advantage to try to, bring in as many dads as we possibly can.
Mm-hmm. Reach out to them and, so what would you say are some of the challenges that dads are facing right now?
Everyday stuff. We got fathers that don't know when it's time to be serious. Fathers struggle with building a relationship with their children, disciplining their children, even the fact of just taking care of their children. Like, I was one of those parents, because I'm my mother's only son, so I was spoiled. So I spoiled my children to death. So now it's backfiring. So I'm one of those fathers that's struggling to try to get it between the lines, like, this is the time where I need to be serious, and this is the time I need to spoil. But I'm still struggling, but I'm learning along the way.
It's kind of a process, I would say.
Yes.
Okay. So what are your hopes for the future of this program?
I would like to see it to continue to grow. I think that we're headed in the right direction in terms of what it is that we're doing across programs at Starfish. Going back to what I was saying earlier with our collaboration with Head Start and Early Head Start, other fatherhood initiative programs throughout the organization, I think is going to be key. Also, just having opportunities like this to speak to your viewers, and just to be able to get what we're doing in Starfish and in terms of what we're doing for fatherhood out in the forefront, I think is going to also be huge. So just to see the growth, to see more dads participate, because it is actually it's an absolutely wonderful program. I'm not doing any justice about not speaking to it, but it's definitely a program that it not only does it celebrate fatherhood, but it's also there to help some dads out that may feel that they need that extra or additional support. So yeah, just to be able to see the growth, that's what I'm looking for and wishing for the future.
Very good. I mean, I'll tell you why I wanted to have you guys on the show, because I know a lot of single dads going through all kinds of struggles, learning how to do everything from braid hair to talk to teachers, and these aren't things that dads are normally taught and encouraged to do. So I think that it's great that there's a program like this that's helping usher you guys into things that maybe mom always handled, or what I mean, grandma stepped in and took care of. So this is great. Thank you guys for being on Live in the D Extra. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for hanging out with us, you guys. I will see you Monday morning on Live in the D, 10 a.m. Have a great weekend.